Hello, sisters. It's Rachel with Rising Love, and we're so excited to invite you on this Ancestral Healing Women's Retreat. And I'm here with my co-collaborator.
Hi, my name is Mel.
And we wanted to answer some of your questions because we had a lot of women who were reaching out interested and asking, what is ancestral work? So ancestral work is, in the most essential explanation, I would say it is about honoring your past, so that way you can be fully present in the moment and know who you are, your identity, your personality, and be able to access maybe some of your gifts, so that way you can create a life that is fulfilling and a legacy that makes you happy and that brings healing and joy to your family. And how that's done, I would say everyone has so many different methods. I like to practice a 4-layer approach. Would be the first layer being the history of your people or your family. This can also be genealogy, studying where your family tree, your ancestors, connecting with your relatives about stories. The second part would be like the culture, the customs, the art, the language, the foods, things that get us really excited about learning about our past and about our relatives. And that kind of takes you into the more science-driven parts, I would say, because as you become aware of your family history and you learn about difficult things that may have had, whether it was genocide or, some, difficult, violent things that you felt caused a lot of loss in your life and perhaps pain, it leads you into needing to get into healing, which healing is all about the act of integration. It's integrating those fragmented parts, the parts that we tend to regress in. So that would lead us into things like psychotherapy, working with a life coach, even doing the DNA testing. It's kind of like, I would say, more, not quite the science of it, but more in the tangible, the hands-on dealing with processing and integration of the traumas that we've experienced. And the last approach would be the spiritual, the religious side, which is about ceremony. It's about making something sacred. It's about making space, a safe space to practice, perhaps, using the knowledge that you gain into creating hobbies or a life purpose around this. We're living in an age where the sacred has become superstition. So we want to create more awareness and teach people how to live a sacred life in ceremony, which is, again, to make something sacred. And I just think that, creating this space and offering the safe place for all of us to come and explore these ideas. So back into wanting to create a sacred space, ceremonial space. And this is why I asked my collaborator, Mel, because she's so amazing with holding sacred space, and she just has such a tender heart and such an amazing aura. So I am honored to host this retreat with Mel about ceremony and sacred space.
Yeah, so a little bit about myself. I started my ancestral healing journey 6 years ago, and I started with honoring my ancestors by, starting an altar for them. That's how my ancestral healing journey started, when I got in touch with my ancestors and understood them better. And also because of my background, my lineage was tortured and killed back in the days, and there was a lot of genocides in my lineage, and I felt that pain in me, like even when I was a child. I felt it deep in my heart and in me. And I always knew it's not my pain that I carry, but also from all my ancestors in my lineage. And that made me realize I really have to, or I want to start my ancestral healing journey. And yeah, I'm honored to walk that way.
Yeah. And that is, I mean, part of this work and this workshop will be creating a sacred space for this grief, to release this, because many of us are, and especially as women, we tend to hold trauma in the body. You know, that could be in our heart space, in our womb space, in our throat. You know, our throat chakra can get blocked from, you know, there's so much conditioning on women to be the good girl, the good wife, you know, and so we are, a lot of times we trade our voice for security or safety, and then we don't realize that this is actually causing us harm, our soul, you know, this kind of negotiation. So we want to welcome those parts back and create this space that we can grieve for those properly and release them from carrying our grandmothers, our great-grandmother, our mother, our grandmother, all of that, so we can be free to live and walk in purpose, love, and joy, so that we can all experience what it feels like to belong. Because most of us want that deep feeling of belonging, and how we can offer our gifts, how we can create a life of meaning and purpose. And so we just invite you, and we're super excited about this. So we hope that you, and if you have any specific questions or subjects that you would like us to talk about, please contact us, or you can drop it in the chat. But we are just super excited about having this, you know, intimate group of women where we're just going to nourish one another and hold space and see and hear one another, and to create some deep healing. So we thank you so much, and we hope to see you there. Thank you.
Bye.